Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank you for attending today the Power Your Job Search with Google Tools presentation. My name is Trevor Pirard. I'm the Technical Services Coordinator here for the library. I do all of our programs that are related to technology. I do one-on-one meetings with people who are trying to learn how to use tablets, phones, or really any technology. And typically, if you come in with a question for technology, I'm the one that they may refer you to or give you my contact information. So with today's presentation, we've got it here live on Facebook, and it's going to be saved to our timeline. So you can always go back and watch it later if you need to refer back to anything, or if you want to follow alongside of it later. The contact information you see from me now on the screen will also be in the comments section later, along with some other resources. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat, or just reach out to me and we'll answer them during the presentation or anything afterwards. So let's get started. One moment to get it moved over. It's not completely wanting to cooperate with me right at the moment. All right, there we go. So today I'll show you how to use Google Tools to make your job search easier and more efficient. With today's climate, there's a lot of people who aren't working or working from home and maybe doing all of this from there. So some of the focus will be towards that type of dynamic. So first, we're going to talk about some of the challenges of finding a career opportunity in your home. There's fewer word of mouth opportunities, so you're not out with friends eating or at work or socializing and hearing about other job opportunities, or someone saying, oh, this place is hiring, or oh, this place is opening up and are looking for people. Distractions at home may make it harder for some people, managing children, the domestic work, and then maybe new living arrangements makes it harder to search or find what you're looking for. Unless, of course, you're trying to look for maybe remote work options right now. So that can cause a challenge for that changing work climate. So let's look at some tips for running a job search from home. First, keep a routine. Routine will help you maintain a sense of normalcy and stay productive. It can be real hard to set at a place you normally do for leisure and work. So you may want to just find a table, clear it out of everything normally, set it up as a workspace. And then when you're done with work, set it back to whatever else it is to help keep that mind frame. You'll want to create a dedicated work spot like I just said and customize it. It helps make that routine a little bit easier. Schedule lunch and breaks the same as you would for your job. So if you're going to be applying, you may do 8 to 5. So you're going to want to schedule that lunch and then try and keep maybe the same type of routine you have for work, if that makes sense for what your work was and what you're doing. Make sure you have the tools you need. So maybe you need office supplies to do your job and apply. So you may get those in from the office or wherever you need to kind of set up an office space that seems a little more familiar. And then create a daily to-do list the day before. You don't want to be starting that morning creating the list you need to do that day and spending your energy on that. Create at the end of the day, maybe things you didn't finish that day, things that have come up that you need to work on tomorrow, and start it. And last, if you're not at work, don't work. Don't stress yourself out over when you're going to do it and that you haven't done it while you're trying to relax. So set up that routine to help keep your stress levels as low as possible. So let's go over the agenda for this presentation. First, we're going to create a job search plan in Google Sheets. Google Sheets is their version of Excel. A sheet for this will help you remember jobs you're interested in and to compare which one is best to apply for. We're then going to show you how to use jobs on Google search to find opportunities. Again, Googling is its own art form and its own science, and we'll go over a little bit of that. Then we'll create a resume from a template in Google Docs. 2 weeks ago, I did a presentation on resumes using Google Docs. That's a little more in depth than what we'll go over today. You can go back and watch that. That should have been on the 27th, I believe is what it was. Yes, the 27th of July. So you can go back there and find it. And then give a strong remote interview with Google Meet. You could also use Zoom, Skype, WebEx, such as what I'm doing this presentation through, and then streaming live to Facebook or any other online video conference program will work. We'll just go over Google. So you're going to want to track your job search in Google Sheets. So you may start by visiting a company's website to look at jobs and find a job description. But you got to be able to keep remembering that if you look at a dozen of them, they may start to get mixed and muddled. And this is where this can come in handy. So first step is you're going to need to sign into a Google account. It'll show you here how to do it, the giant blue button in the top. And from that second one, you can always create an account if you don't have a Google account. They're quick and easy to set up. They shouldn't be much of an issue. And then you'll need to access your Google Drive after that. If you click on the Google Apps button, which looks like a waffle or a gridiron, you can click on it and then click on Google Drive, which is the blue, yellow, and green triangular button. And then third, you'll need to create a Google Sheet. So you'll click New, and then go over to Google Sheets, and then you'll click on it, and then go to Blank Spreadsheets. And then you can rename it for this, whatever you want to say, if you want to call it your job search spreadsheet, or however you prefer. Where it says up there, Untitled Spreadsheet is where you'll change it. And you'll click on it, and it'll simply let you replace it. And remember, with anything Google related, for their documents, their Drive, PowerPoints, their slides, it'll auto-save when you stop typing, so you don't have to worry about saving or losing data if you suddenly close out. So let's go over some Google Sheet basics really quick. Each rectangle is called a cell, and then you have them split into columns and rows. The columns are going to be lettered A through Z, and then it'll go AA, AB, and so on. And then, of course, the rows are just numbered 1 through however many you need. As you can see on this screen, it shows in the first row different titles of job position, company name, salary, website URL, and notes. And then each column has its own, will have all that information in it to help you separate it all out to keep track of it nicely. So as you can see from this, it's showing you kind of how you can fill it in and write it out. So you can use Google Sheets to manage many aspects of your life, such as creating a budget, calculating progress towards goals, maybe planning a trip. Really anything you could possibly think of that you want to keep track of, you can use Google Sheets for. So what we're doing here is customizing the spreadsheet to track important information about each job. You can just see again from this where they can click on it, you can highlight it, and they can make those changes to format. So maybe the coloring of it, they're bolding it, they're making the text larger, maybe you want to center it. The same like when you make a document and you make all those little changes you can do in Sheets as well. So let's find opportunities with Google search. So most employers list new jobs online and manage the entire application process digitally. I know I've helped other people who are just now getting back into the workforce and have had trouble because it's no longer a go into a place, say you want to apply for a job, shake a hand and hand in a resume. It's moved digitally, which for some people who may not be used to that, it's a lot harder. So there's a learning curve with it. To help, we're going to use jobs on Google search. to find these opportunities. So first, you're going to need to begin your job search. Remember to open another tab while you search, so you can have your sheets open in one tab and your job search in another tab. That way you can quickly move information back and forth. So if you're not on Google Chrome, of course, just google.com and then start searching. You can search for things, what you'll see on the screen, like jobs near me or retail jobs, part-time jobs, customer service jobs. You can also say jobs near instead of saying me. As you can see, it says things like Austin, Texas, or Kyle, Texas. You can search by different cities if, say, you're moving to a different city. And you're going to begin your search. So this screen right here will show you some recommendations. And you can always click here on this arrow to expand out your search. It'll show more information. This is just a simple preview of several possible jobs based on what you search. So they looked at jobs near Memphis, Tennessee, and it's giving you some recommendations. So you're going to want to review possible opportunities. As you can see on the screen where it's searching for it, now it's showing you that preview screen of jobs near Houston, Texas. And that's what it looks like. You can expand it out and then or click on the job and it'll show you a lot more detail. You still have that list of jobs here on the left side of the screen with more information about a specific job over on the right. So that might be the information you want to transfer to your Google Sheets. And that's why it can be important to have both tabs open at once. You'll want to look at the job search results. This is a little information about what you will see. So those blue links at the top of the job are options to apply. Some jobs you may apply directly on their website, and then others may use websites like Indeed or Glassdoor or LinkedIn to apply for them. So it helps you get a link to where you need to go to apply instead of having to just randomly search online to figure that out. It may give you salary information, whether it be hourly or just a salary, and then a job description. Then as you can see at the bottom where it may have like a start date or when the job is going to open up or when they're going to close for applications. And then you may see things like company reviews. So if it's a small company that you don't really know anything about, you may see reviews on how it stacks up, and you can use that to compare one company to another or one job to another, and which one might be worth it. So another aspect of Google is they have job opportunities for veterans, specific search features for veterans. And this can help you narrow down your searches. So veterans can search for jobs using their military occupational specialty code. They can simply type in veteran jobs near me. And then they'll get a screen that looks like this that allows them to enter their code and then help find jobs that may work with whatever specialty they have in the military. So once you start looking, you may get a lot of jobs depending on what you're looking for. If it's a more generic job, so you're going to have to filter your search results. You can use these filters up here to narrow down your search results. As you can see from the short clip, it's showing you how to do that, and it gives you a lot of options to be able to get more specific and narrow down what you're really looking for. Because if you type in sales, you might get a lot of different types of sales. But are you looking for a job you just work from 8 to 5? Maybe you want to be a car salesman. Maybe you're part-time, full-time. All those filters can be used to help narrow it down, make it a little easier to find what you're looking for. So let's talk about another important filter that people may be interested in, especially now. It's called Find Remote Work. You can use the Work from Home filter to find remote jobs. So this might be very helpful for people that do things like graphic design, IT work, any job that may not require you to be on site to do a job. Now, a nurse probably not going to be able to do work from home because they have to work pretty hand in hand with patients. but there could possibly be types of job in there. You never know unless you look. So I would recommend that if you're looking for work from home. It also allows you to look in other cities to help maybe find yourself a job, especially if it's a very specialized field that would make it a little bit easier to get in there. You can also save jobs. So if you want to go back and look at it later as well. So even though you may keep this Google sheet full of information, you're still going to want to keep the job saved so you can go back and apply for it. You can simply click on the little bookmark icon in the clip and save it, or you can save it over here on the side when you're in the actual job description. And that'll just help keep track of many of them. You can do a whole lot at once, and maybe you don't have a lot of time, you're coming home in a day, and you see a few that you want to look at tomorrow, so you just click and save them all really quick. And then you can set alerts. In the bottom left, as you can see here, you can set alerts to receive updates. So maybe at the top over here where it has self-representative selected, it's going to give you alerts for those type of jobs. Because you're not always going to be able to sit there and search for jobs. Jobs are going to be popping up all the time, and they're going to be removed all the time. So you have to figure out when you can see them, and having alerts tell you directly, send you an email when they're coming up, might be one of the best ways to just do them if you're not able to spend all your time searching. Now you want to enter opportunities into your Google Sheet. So you can use the sheet to track the status of each application in your job. As you can see for this one, they're typing in the sales representative working from home, the company it's for, expected salary. So all these are information to keep track of to make it a little easier instead of having to go back to that overall list. The website URL could be very handy if you need to go to the Google search, so you can have it saved in 2 locations. So you can go back to your saved list for job searches, or you could open up the spreadsheet. The great thing about these is you can access your Google Sheets from any computer, tablet, phone that has internet access. So you could be working on this at home and then suddenly out with someone else, and they tell you about a job and you can pull one up, or you tell someone about a job, pull it up and show it so they can help them. You can always add in more information if you want. And it's a great way to compare places. So maybe for up here, you put in position for whether it's full-time or part-time. It allows you to make that comparison if you're just wanting one or the other. So let's talk about customizing a resume in Google Docs now. This will be a brief go over. Like I said earlier, we did this one 2 weeks ago, so you can always go back and watch that video if you want a more in-depth description on how to create a resume. So you'll use our resume template. So you'll go back to your drive again, you'll click new, kind of like you did from the spreadsheet. Instead of going to Sheets, you'll click on Google Docs, and then you'll click from a template. So there are resume templates you can choose from. Each one's going to have like different coloring and layout. Choose whatever one fits you best, whatever layout or design you like. And then remember, you can always go back and change it or try a different one if you want. And then, of course, once you've chosen a resume template, you can rename it whatever you like, the same with the spreadsheet up at the top. So first, you're going to want to add text to it. So it'll have those places already filled in, some generic information just to tell you what to fill in here. As you can see in the clip, they're changing up the your name with an actual name, starting to fill in their skills. And then once you do that, you may want to format text. You realize, I don't like this text, I don't like the font. Maybe I want to change some of these colorings. I don't like the red for the company name location. It stands out too much. I'd rather just be black. You can make all those changes. Or maybe you want to bold something because you think it's important, it should stand out. You can do that as well. You can insert comments. So maybe you're filling this out here in your experience, where it says the month 20XX to present. Maybe that's not your most current job, or you moved jobs, or you finished that job, you quit, or let go, or whatever, and you need to change that date. And you don't know the date right off the top of your head. So maybe you'll set up a comment that says, find your exact start date. So you know to go back and look at it later, because it may be on your resume. You may forget to put that in, forget about it. But having that comment may help you go, oh yeah, I need to go do that. I need to go back and find that. I need to go look at paperwork, maybe figure that out. And then make a copy edit for different jobs. So this isn't super important. You don't have to do this. This is just an option. So maybe you're applying for different types of jobs that require vastly different skills, and you are competent and qualified for both of them. So maybe you want 2 different resumes that outline your skills for each of those type of jobs. Or say you're doing a specific job and you want to do it versus a generic job title. So looking at something like graphic design versus web design. Graphic design is pretty all encompassing of different types of design, where web design is a more specialized type. So your resumes may look slightly different based on giving any generic information versus very specific information, which could help set you up to look better when they're going through resumes for the position. And then you're going to want to maybe share your resume to get some feedback. So you got a friend who helps hire for a company, or is just really good at their grammar and can help you look at mistakes and find those mistakes. You can see from the clip how you can share it. You'll add an email address, and then you can change them to a commentator to give them access. So they can go in and leave those comments like you were on your resume for things you should go and change. And then you can add links to different resumes in your job search plan. So going back over that tab, you can click share at the top. Come down here, get a copy link, and I'll give you a link that you can share. So you could put that in your Group sheet. You could also send that in an email to someone as well, or share it on, say, your social media platform. So if you want people to be able to access your resume at any time, you could do something like that. So if you're doing a lot of different resumes, this may be a very easy way to keep track of each one and know exactly which one to upload, so you don't click on the wrong one when you do a job application. Remember, all this is saved in your Google Drive. You always have access to them as long as you have access to the internet. So maybe you end up meeting someone in person who is asking about a resume, and then in there you could go into Google Drive, pull it up, and send them your resume. So let's move on to the Google Meet, the interview, and we'll go over that briefly. So you can video conference with Google Meet. A lot of companies are starting to change that and do that now. Job seekers may find video interviewing intimidating. Maybe seeing your own video makes you nervous, or you worry about background noise, especially if you have kids or pets. You may worry about when you're trying to do an interview. It may not look professional. As you can see from the screen, someone doing it on their computer, someone's doing it on their mobile. So you can have different ways of doing it if you don't have an easy way to set up for it. Just as with in-person interviews, your skills get better with practice. So we're going over a few of those things that may help with your interviewing. So here are some of the best practices. Look toward the camera. While the person may be on like the corner of your screen, if you're looking at them, which you would do in person, it may look like you're not paying attention or you're not looking at them. So try to make sure to keep your eye contact in the camera. Of course, if your eyes move and flit to them from time to time, that won't be an issue. You'll want to make sure you speak clearly, speak slowly. That way you're not speaking too fast so they can hear you. Because with microphones, it may be a little harder to hear. You may get some static or some interference that you're having to deal with. And then pay attention to lighting. It'll make it easier to see if you're not too dark or if your light's too bright, it's washing you out. A lot of, even over a video, a lot of communication can be nonverbal. So having the correct lighting to help that come through can be very beneficial. You'll want to choose a neutral background to avoid those distractions, those background issues that could be a problem, such as a kid or an animal or a spouse crossing the screen behind you or causing you to be distracted because you see it happening in your own screen. So maybe just a wall behind you might help with some of that. And then dress appropriately for the interview. Dress the same as you would if you were doing a physical interview, having to walk into an office and do it. Helps keep you in the same mindset of what you're applying for, maybe keeps you from getting so relaxed or leisurely, and helps present better even though you're doing it over video. It's a little bit different. It helps with what you're doing. And then practice. Practice. If you have a friend who you could do this with, to do maybe a mock interview, go for it. It will help get out some of those nerves of how do you set up, and it helps you see if you've got a good setup for lighting, place, how you're dressed, if it looks okay. And that should help relieve some of those nerves and stress. So let's briefly just recap over what we've gone over. We've gone over Google Sheets, how to access them, how to make one, and maybe what kind of information for your job search you want to put in there. We've gone over searching with Google for jobs, how to navigate it, how to do a bit of saving, narrowing down the search, how to do alerts. And then their docs, we've gone over briefly how to make a resume, how to share with people, and get some feedback on it to have one that's well polished. And the last course is Meets, how to maybe do some meetings through Google's video chat. But those same best practices we just talked about are going to work with Skype, Zoom, or any of the other video programs as well. So now I'm going to move on to some of the other applications and programs that you can access through us that can be very helpful for your job search. You can learn from anywhere. Job searching can be intimidating, and I'm going to show you some of Google's training resources that you have access to. So G Suite training is the collaboration that Google has that allows you to train further in some of the things such as through Google Drive, Gmail, Documents, Sheets. So maybe you're like, well, I know how to write this information in cells, but how do I combine cells? How do I make collapsible cells? Things like that you can train on with G Suite training. So you can get official certification for all these trainings, but it will cost you to take the exam. I think it's $80 to get that certification and take the test. And for all these things we're going to go over, we're going to have links in the comments, so it'll be easy for you to remember what they are and go back to them if you want to access them later. But also, like in the bottom left corner, it has it written out. You can always write this down and go to it later if you want. Applied Digital Skills offers free video-based lessons to prepare learners of all ages for jobs that require basic digital skills. So it'll cover skills such as data analysis, to research and communication, to resume writing. So maybe you have the basics of resume and you want to flesh it out a little more, or you're just not sure where to go with your resume. Those types of training for their digital skills can very well help. A lot of them can be towards people who are going into a business or starting a business. So maybe you're just getting into applying for jobs, you're coming out of high school or college, and those can be very helpful. And there's no charge for this training. All the training is absolutely free. You can get to it by going to g.co/applied digital skills to get access to them. Google Primer, it's for business and marketing lessons. You can sharpen your business and marketing skills. You'll definitely want to check out Primer to do it. There's an app for both Android and for Apple. You download them on your phone. You can start the lessons. It'll give you reminders on working on them. Typically, they're just a couple minutes. If you can see in this example, it's just a 5-minute lesson for working remotely and productively at the same time. So those could be helpful other little trainings that you could do. These are all things you could possibly put on your resume to show the skills that you've obtained and learned. SKILLSHOP. It was formerly known as Academy for Ads, and then Google rebranded, renamed it. It's for training on their professional tools. So things such as how to use YouTube, their Google My Business, set up your business account on Google. Maybe you want to look at how to figure out analytics for a company or your company. You can look at their analytics academy to figure all these things out. The lessons are categorized by experience, and again, it's available for free. The only thing you'll have to pay for is to get that G Suite certification. And then they have free online training and tools at GROW.GOOGLE. So they have ones for teachers and students. You can bring them to your classroom. So if you're a teacher, if you go into these training tools, you'll want to mark yourself as a teacher. Everyone else, if you're just learning on your own and you're not doing it for students, you'll mark yourself as a student for this. Local businesses, people who are just wanting to get started, if you're wanting to help customers find you online, how to grow your online presence, Google can help with that. For job seekers, it's part of what this is for. In the resume writing one, for people who are trying to seek jobs, they'll have resources. And then for developers, we will have a program that will cost money, but it'll teach you how to learn code or develop your skills even further and get certifications on those as well. So your next steps, what you may want to do after this presentation, you may actually want to start. So you can, here's a checklist of things. So you'll want to create a job search tracker from Google Sheets, search for your jobs in your area, filter for what interests you or what you're specialized in, go to the Google Docs and make a template for a resume and choose one that'll suit your experience, style, industry, and then maybe do some mock interviews before some interviews, and then go over any of the other resources and tools to help grow your abilities and skill sets to help you find a career. These are the resources. I plan to post this page in the comments so you'll have access if you can't remember everything to where to go to and figure it all out. I want to thank you all for being here for the presentation today. If you have any questions, again, feel free to email me or call me and get a hold of me to ask me questions. This video, again, will be uploaded on Facebook, so feel free to watch it again if you get any information, if there's any confusion. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.